Yeah, I couldn't agree more, Unathi. And I think you've really raised something very important, which is also normalizing women being in those positions and having effect on those changes. Because like you mentioned, you get the trailblazers and the pioneers, but it seems so far removed from your reality. And
Yes.
it makes it seem so much more unreachable to that young girl looking up or aspiring. And like you say, normalize, obviously expose the difficulties and really highlight all of the things that they should overcome, but normalize that women belong in those positions, women belong in those decision making roles, and
Yes.
also highlight the impact and change that it affects by just having a woman being part of that decision making process. So I thank you. That was a very, very valid point. And on that note, during Women's Month, how do you think we could celebrate and promote the achievements of women in law and beyond? Like you said, it's something that needs to be really. Oh, sorry about that, Unathi. We had a bit of network issues. So,
Yeah, sorry, you cut there on my side.
no, not a problem at all. So I was just asking, during Women's Month, how do you think that we could celebrate and promote the achievements of women in law and really highlight that impact and beyond? Women in these leadership positions and who are affecting change.
I think, Amber, what's really important is giving them their flowers while they're still alive. I think a lot of the time, particularly in South Africa, we platform and give visibility to someone once they've passed away, and they don't actually they don't interact and they don't feel the importance and they don't feel the change that they've made, in someone's life, because it doesn't need to be a whole of people that you've changed, even if it's one person, even if it's one girl from Englobo in the Eastern Cape who says that, you know what, I actually went and I studied LLB because I saw that it was possible. I saw that, Judge President Boyo Dlamini was the first woman president of KZN. And being from Englobo, she's made me believe that, your background doesn't dictate your future. It can be something that you can use to motivate you, but it certainly is not going to be something that is guaranteed to be a hindrance to all further progress in your life.
Yes.
And I think giving those women their flowers while they're still alive is so important. And I think that also plays a part in reminding us, as women who've taken on the baton from them, to remind us that this is actually a journey that has been walked for so long before us. And we are just a furtherance of all of the, the women's rights movements, the women's rights activists. We are furtherance of their steps, and the work shouldn't stop because there's so much work that still needs to be done. Yes, we've achieved so much. Women can now vote. We can now take part in, in leadership. We are now free to engage within, the economic sectors of the world. We are able to, get married, get divorced, and inherit. So much definitely has changed, and we're definitely not backtracking away from that. But as the generations come through, there are unique challenges that then get faced by that generation. And then it becomes our job to then play our part in being activists and advancing those women's issues and carrying on the work, that's been started by, women like Desiree Feenba, Irene Giffen, the late Justice Yvonne Mohoro, and to make sure that their work wasn't in vain. I think that's what's important, is giving flowers to them whilst they're still alive, and also remembering that the work will always continue. Even if, their souls have departed, but the work that they've done will always remain.
I 100% agree. That is really very important, and I'm so glad that you brought that up. Excuse me. But yes, Unathi, each one of us, I think, are responsible for laying a new brick in the road to future rights and future access and future opportunity for the generations to come and for women in general, or those who don't have the access that some of us now enjoy, because there are still those disparities. So,
Definitely.
I 100% hear you, and I thank you so much for being so candid and sharing such impactful thoughts. Just to close up, how would you encourage other legal practitioners to sign up to do their mandatory 48 hours with pro bono, or just to volunteer? I can really feel and hear your passion, and I think that something that's come across greatly in this interview is the platform that you've been given and used through probono.org in order to make change. How would you encourage other legal practitioners to do the same?
Well, firstly, I'm glad my passion comes through. That's great.
It definitely does.
I think for me to make the mandatory 40 hours something that is not a chore or an errand. A tip, or if I can say that, is to align it with the kind of person that you are and what you enjoy. So if you enjoy litigation, look into taking on matters that require litigation, but party may not be able to afford the attorney fees, and they would be pro bono. If you enjoy, sitting down with people and talking them through their issue and providing them with a solution that they will then action themselves, a help desk may be the correct platform for you.
Yes.
If you are a yapper like me, then community engagements are going to be the perfect way for you to get in your hours, because you're doing something that you're very good at doing, which is talking, but you're talking about something that is going to help people and also empower them to action their solutions. Because a lot of the time with pro bono clients, the unfortunate optics, I'd say, of them is that, they are helpless and they cannot do anything themselves. And yeah, I mean, there are a lot of reasons for that. We don't need to get into all of them.
Yeah.
But, on the ground, you find that it's actually people who are more than willing to action the solutions themselves. They just want to be pointed in the right direction.
Yeah.
They are willing to put in the work. They're willing to put in the years that it takes to get to the resolution that they seek. They just need you to confirm, do I go via the CCMA or the labor court? When I'm filling out this form, what does this mean? It's about access to information, to let someone know that, you actually do have a right to have legal processes explained to you in a language that you are comfortable in. And once you give someone that access to information, it changes the entire outlook. Because once they know that I can request for an interpreter, then you don't actually have to support that person sometimes throughout their matter, because now they are engaging with someone in the same language that they are comfortable in. So I would say to, legal practitioners, reach out to your provincial probono.org office and find out from them, what initiatives they have going on, what would be of interest to you, and how you can get involved. The probono.org team really is a great team to work with. And yeah, definitely reach out to them and start building that relationship with them.
Yeah, I really like that you brought up, Unathi, because I mean, my engagement with probono.org and understanding exactly what they do, I noticed that they try very much to align their volunteers and their law firms with what would best suit them. I mean, in terms of time and access, but also in terms of their passion. So like you were saying, there's very much the possibility of just plugging in to where there's a necessity, but that also excites the legal practitioner in what they're doing.
Exactly. I mean, it's time that you're spending on something and you don't want to associate that with being a chore. It's not something that you should approach with, oh my God, yet again, a pro bono matter. I mean, obviously it's work, it's hard work, but it's hard work that you're not unfamiliar to, as someone who works in the legal profession. It should, in the very least, be something that you look forward to, something that you use as a learning point, because it's dealing with different people, someone who may ask you a question that you've never, encountered before, someone who brings about a problem that you've never encountered before. And it's also for you to develop your practice, to develop your knowledge, and also just helping someone, because what you may take for granted because it's something that's become so commonplace for you is actually something that is life-changing, to them, because they didn't know that it's actually possible for me to refer my dispute to the CCMA if I feel that I've been unfairly dismissed, because historically that wasn't something available to people. So for you to impart that, that's something that you take as, it's obviously it's common knowledge, because it's human nature to, once you get used to something, you actually forget that this is actually quite specialist knowledge, and it's not knowledge that's available across the board. And by just sharing that one tidbit of information, you've actually changed the course of someone's life potentially. And I think if anything, you need to be passionate, you need to feel excited about getting involved in that. And also part and parcel of duties as an attorney, because, when you took the oath, in whichever court you took it in, you also promised that in being an officer of the court, you're going to espouse the values and ethics of a legal practitioner. And part of that is also helping the community in giving them access to legal resources that they wouldn't ordinarily have access to.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Unathi. And to all of our other legal practitioners who would, like Unathi has so eloquently stated, like to affect change, to grow, and to remind themselves of just how special and important the work that they do is, please go to probono.org and sign up. Unathi, you are definitely, I think, affecting change, and we thank you so much for your time and for being a woman in law and sharing your insights with us. Hopefully we'll get to chat again.
Yes, I would love for that. Thank you, Amber, and thank you for having me today. Yappies are always looking forward to more opportunities to yap and talk about employment laws. I'll never say no.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you so much, Unathi. We'll catch up soon. Have a great day.
Thank you, Amber.